Hi, and welcome to another video on how to graph your competencies by items. So let me show you what I'm doing here. Here are the lab notes, and these lab notes are going to show you how to do this. So let me talk about why would you want to do this. So you've just graphed all of your competencies or dimensions, and you're looking to see what's the highest, what's the lowest, and that's what you would tell your client. And specifically when you get into the lowest, they're going to ask the question, why is engagement the lowest? What are the items that are telling us that? So the first thing that you would do is get into the items of the lowest scoring competency. And what I mean by the lowest scoring competency is the one that's got the highest unfavorable ratings, right? So you're going to go back to let me show you what we just did in the last video. So here, now these are just two. So you need to make the decision for all of the competencies, what you do it. But here, my unfavorable is 40.6%, and this is 13.8. So this would be my most unfavorable dimension so far. So I'm going to show you this one. So we come over here, back to these notes. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom table. Now, you always could just copy and paste the information over into Excel. That's always one way, and you know how to do that. Here, I'm going to show you another way on doing this item chart in SPSS. And this is one, it's difficult in terms of remembering. I don't ever memorize this. I just go back and follow my own notes step by step. And so I'm going to follow this, and I'm going to show you now our data. Okay, so in this, I'm going to click Analyze, Tables, and Custom Tables. It's going to give me this warning that says, your variable labels should be defined and the measurement levels should be set correctly. And what it means by this, and I have this note in your lab notes here. So all the labels need to be the same. So if for some reason you have a 1 through 5 on 4 of the items and a 1 through 6 on 4, that's not going to turn out well. So they all need to be on the same Likert scale. And the second thing is, for this particular graph to work, it needs to be set to ordinal. This will only work with ordinal. And luckily you can see here, all of my item data is ordinal. Okay, so I'm good with that. Let me reset this, all tabs. So given that compensation so far is my most unfavorable, I'm going to select the 5 items that go with that. And I'm going to drag this over into rows. Okay. Now I'm going to come down here to the right where it says category position. And I'm just going to select, instead of default, I'm going to change it to row labels and columns. Then I'm also going to click this hide button. I just took away the count. Now I'm going to come over here to the left where it says N% summary statistics. And I'm going to click on that. It's going to bring us to a new window. And we don't want this count, so I'm going to get rid of this. And I can click that. It just expanded that. We're going to go to this row percent, and we're going to expand that. Then we're going to click row N% and click that over. Now we're going to click the apply to selection button and this close button. I almost clicked that OK button. Okay, let me check my notes if I've done everything here. Row percent, count, I've removed, apply to selection, close. Okay, now I'm done. So I'm going to say, oh, okay. So, and I want to put this in the notes, close and okay. All right. Okay, so here's my table. Now I'm going to double click on this table and it's going to bring up this formatting toolbar, but it's also going to change this toolbar up here. And you'll notice that this option pivot comes up and you're going to select that and transpose rows and columns. And so you can see, and I can show you up here, if you don't transpose the rows and columns, it looks like this, which is not as easy to read. So we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna select all of this data, just the numbers, right click. We're gonna select create graph, and then we're gonna select bar. And this is gonna come up, right? This looks better, but it still needs a little bit of work. So I'm gonna show you some expert tips from SPSS. So the first thing we're going to do is double click on this graph. Then once it brings up this chart editor, we're going to double click on any of the columns. It doesn't matter. It's going to select all of them. You can see this little yellow line around them. And then we're going to come up here and select this tab called variables. And once variables is selected, we're going to come down, it says row, cell, and we're interested in statistics here. And in this statistics, we're going to change this X cluster to a stack. So the X cluster is this type of bar graph, same as Excel. And you just scroll down to get to stack. And you hit apply and close. And here we are. Now, you want to click two more buttons. One is you want to transpose the chart coordinate system here. So I'm going to click this and it's going to turn it to the side, which makes reading these items a little bit easier. And you'll notice it's easier to tell which items are most unfavorable. Okay. Now you don't have to do this for your homework, but if this was client data, I would totally change around these colors if you can. And fills and borders, I would change this to be red, you know, the unfavorable. That's actually the border, I'm saying border weight. Let's see if this do it well. I won't fool with it here, but if you were doing this for a client, you would want the unfavorable to be red and the favorable to be green. That might be confusing that it's the other way around. But again, not going to be counted off in your homework. I'm just telling you as a consultant, this is something you would want to know. Okay, then the last button I'm going to click is this show data labels, which you should be familiar with by now. And my only option here is a count because we don't have a percent in these counts. So all I've got is count. If I had the option for percent, I would pick that. The other thing is you can do your number format here. So we've got 2 decimal places, which is fine. But if you wanted to change that, that's where that would happen. I'm going to close and I'm going to close out of this. And there is my beautiful competency by item chart. Again, you want to do this for your lowest scoring competency. Okay, so last we are going to do graphing by dimensions. I'm sorry, by demographics. And I'm looking at my notes here and we're just going to do this. So I've amended these notes to show you this is for homework item number 2. This is for homework item number 3. This is some extra optional stuff that, you know, if you're feeling advanced and want to play around, you certainly can. But it is not required for the homework. The last thing that's required for the homework is this part. So let's get to it. I'm going to share my data. And then I'm simply going to follow these steps. I'm going to go to graphs, legacy dialog, bar. Now this time, I'm going to select clustered and summaries of separate variables, right? So we're moving from groups of cases to summaries of separate variables. Hit define. Okay, now let me reset this here. What you're going to do is pick your demographic of choice, years of service, primary areas, where do you spend your working time? I'm just going to pick this first one. So this nominal variable has to go into the category access. I'm going to put it there. And then I'm going to go down and, you know, if compensation was my lowest one, ideally I'm just interested in this. But SPSS won't let you just choose one here. So we're going to choose all of them. So you can see what this looks like. And I just selected all my competencies and put them in this bars represent area. Now I'm going to click OK. And there it is. And there's nothing that I really need to do here. You're done. Again, here's something you could do if you want to. You can double click on this and you can transpose your chart coordinate system so that it's going this way. You don't have to, you know, you can do your show data labels. That's always a good option. But here they're kind of so jumbled, you might want to move them to the top. It might not look good here. These are kind of hard to read because there's so many, so I might undo that. So, and again, with this bar, it's pretty clear to tell where the numbers are falling around. So for me, I wouldn't do it because it wouldn't look professional. So that is what you have to do for this last part. Please reach out to your instructor if you have any questions or you're getting stuck on this homework. Thanks.